Good morning! I hope everyone is keeping well. Let me just check that we are live. Yes, excellent. Excellent, excellent. So we're doing some techniques today. Yay! And on that subject, I need a scrap piece of paper because we're going to get dirty. Well, not dirty, messy, I think is a better word for it. So I'm going to bring in an old piece of grid paper, having just changed grid paper. Morning, Bee. Hope you're well. Right, just move my laptop over a bit. That's better. So, today is booster day, so I'm drinking lots. 2 o'clock this afternoon, we are off, hubby and I, to have our boosters. So, yeah, fingers crossed, don't have too much of a reaction. I know it's very individual. I know people who had bad reactions with the AstraZeneca. I know people who didn't, all the lot. Good, glad to hear you are well. Sorry, I've just seen there's a... Oh, no, that's fine. Sorry, I saw something come in. I am keeping half an eye on email and phone, only because one of our cats is in the vets. He unfortunately needs to have an operation. Love techniques. I get mine tomorrow. Oh, you get your jab tomorrow. Excellent. So yes, if you saw my Simple Stamping Saturday post and video, I did this card, which hopefully I have got in camera. Let me check. Just about. Don't leave that on because that's my reminder. So I made this card. I have to say the the flicking wasn't ideal, but one of my YouTube followers asked if I would do a technique class on that, so I am. Morning Claire, morning, and I said good morning Janice. So B had her booster in September. I have to say, so I'm going to get this out there here and now. Omicron. Everything that's coming out of South Africa at the moment, and I do caveat this with they have a much younger population than a lot of the world. They also have a lower vaccination rate than a lot of certainly the Western world. But all the reports that are coming out of South Africa at the moment are that Omicron is feeling a little run down for a couple of days. So I am hopeful that it's not a bad virus in that, or that bad mutation in that sense. I mean, obviously anything is not great, any change is not great, but that is my hope, that we will actually not get too much of a problem with it. The encouraging thing is that although our infection rate in the UK is still quite high, our hospitalisation and death rates are actually dropping, which a lot of that is to do with the boosters. So I'm going to get that out there now, and then I'm going to change the subject to something more exciting, which is crafting. So I'm going to be using, for today's technique, the Peaceful Cabin bundle. Mostly actually the dies. Sorry, I have a dry throat, even though I've been trying to hydrate all morning. So mostly I'll be using the dies because I wanted something where we could put an Aurora Borealis technique behind. That's bad English. Behind which we could put an Aurora Borealis technique. That's what I'm trying to say. Hello, Lorna. Good to know that your power is back on. I mean, awful. So, for those of you who are not in the UK or Europe, we had snow in the UK in November. I mean, come on. Really? And high winds. And a lot of places lost power. And I know Lorna, was hit by that. I'm just going to take a drink. So, yes. But I'm glad you've got power back. So I am going to flip the camera down. I'm going to grab a glove. I only need one. I'm going to grab a glove, flip the camera down, and then we will get started on some technique. I will be needing to reach for brushes and things. So did you get snow? We got snow here, yes. Not much, just a little. We got enough that it was kind of pretty, but that was all. Right, so I want picture in picture. Really sexy looking glove. So, yeah, I mean, for us to get snow is quite unusual. I say that. We moved here nearly 7 years ago, and we moved in when there was snow. Morning, Ruth. Icy, freezing Lancashire. Snow's melted, replaced with driving rain. Oh, lovely. We're not meant to have much in the way of precipitation for the next few days. I'm due to go into London on Sunday. I will be driving a lot of the way and then picking up the tube with my mask, obviously. But I'm going out for an afternoon tea. Nothing in Essex. No, I think it was mostly the north and west. So, oh, thick cloud and a gentle breeze. We may get some precipitation overnight and on Friday. But for the rest of the week, no, we're fine for the rest of the week. So that's good. But yeah, I think it was mostly the north and west. We were probably about as far south as it came. So the first thing I'm going to do is grab a basic white mat. And then I'm going to grab some inks, which are of course hidden behind my water bottle and things. So I'm going to start with So Saffron and Calypso Coral, and I'm going to be doing I'm going to replicate what I did before. You had nearly a foot of snow over the past week. Wow. Up in Lancashire. So Magenta Madness and Night of Navy were the other ones that I used. So those are the inks that I'm going to use, but in the opposite order. So we're going to have Night of Navy, Magenta Madness, Calypso Coral, and So Saffron. Now I've chosen So Saffron because it's got a slightly pink, warm tinge to it. So I'm going to use that one first. So I've got my yellow blending brush. And now I'm not going to need to go all the way down. There's part of me actually that wonders if I should be going that way, which I think I should. Right, so I'm going to be doing more width and less height. Can't believe you had nearly a foot. Wow. This is just not heard of in the UK in November, just saying. So just load up your blender brush, and I'm going to go across. So I'm doing this sort of thing with a bit of a swirl in the middle. Some of this will be covered up, and I will decide which side will be covered up once I have made the whole piece. And I may trim some of it down just to get rid of any harsh lines. But basically, we're just going to be adding So Saffron. You don't ideally want to go into the middle with a full brush, but hey, I'm living dangerously. It's very cold in my studio this morning, so I have a runny nose. So how is everyone? Tomorrow, for those of you who are... Oh no, let's go back. Well, no, actually, let's go forward. So tomorrow, those of you who are demonstrators, we get to pre-order from the new mini catalogue, which will be launching on the 4th of January. We also get to pre-earn celebration items. So that's fun. There are very, very few, I'm staggered, very few items that in Europe will not be available at the beginning of pre-order. And by very few, I'm thinking half a dozen, which, bearing in mind we were told that we could end up with quite a lot not being available. Now, obviously, that will vary from region to region, but certainly for Europe, there were not many. The host stamp sets from the new mini are not available, that I do remember. Good morning, Jan from Florida. So I've got my yellow strip. That's going to be the start of the Aurora Borealis. I'm just going to get any residual ink off my yellow brush. So that I will probably need to come back in. So Calypso Coral is my red/orange brush. It is a lovely sunny colour, isn't it? And I'm just about to cover most of it up. So yes, so tomorrow is pre-order for demonstrators. If you would like to pre-order and you're not a demonstrator, you still have until the end of today. So I'm just swirling this into the So Saffron, possibly going over too much, but it's fine. So yes, if you would like to be able to pre-order in December, then you've still got until the end of today to use the Start with Savings starter kit. So just £75 or €100 for £130 or €179 of goodies. So yay! And then because in the UK you have to have a cooling off period. Going to sneeze. You won't be able to order for 7 days, but hey. Excuse me, don't know where that came from. Still waiting for UPS. Well, yes, UPS are great when they work. But hey. By onstage stuff, do you mean PPP? Jan's first time of being able to pre-order. Yay! The other thing you can do if you want to pre-order is wait until tomorrow and then put pre-order items into your starter kit, because you will be able to do so, but of course you won't know what's in the catalogue. However, it's fine. There are ways around that. You can just search, for example. But I had one of my customers sign up yesterday, which was really exciting. She's actually very local to me, which, as I'm mostly online, is kind of strange. But I had a phone call mid-morning to say, I'm having problems joining up. So I whizzed into my car and off I went to give her a hand, which was lovely. So yes, it's PPP. Okay. Well, hopefully UPS will be able to sort themselves out. If not, get onto demo support and let them know that there's a problem, because they may be able to do something. Anyway, so we're just blending stuff on. I will need to come back and put some more ink on, I have no doubt, but at the moment that's where we are. Now this one's going to be the real shocker, which is Magenta Madness. So surprise, surprise, I have a very pink brush. Now this is a very strong colour, so yeah, but it's a really nice, it gets that really rich rich glow going. Now I'm going to start coming in from the side, because we're going to end up with Night of Navy on the edge, which is obviously quite dark, so that will help cover up some of the Magenta Madness. Excuse me. It's not COVID, it's just a splutter. I've been on the phone a lot over the last few days, mostly talking about cats. But yeah. Hello, Nora. So yes, we're getting there. But yes, those of you who were watching just over a week ago, Pepper, our boy cat, our black boy cat, don't particularly like those blodges, but I think I'll be able to blend those out, has managed to pick up a fungal infection. Good morning, Mary. Which apparently is a thing, although the variety that he's picked up is apparently quite rare. That's Pepper for you. but it means he's got to have quite a lot of his ear taken off, because they have to do a wide margin. So we are rather upset because it's his bent ear, and he was born with a bent ear, and when we were looking to get some rescue cats, gosh, nearly 10 years ago, it was his bent ear that attracted us to him. So it's a bit sad, but we trust the vets, so I'm sure it will be fine. Right, now at some point I've got to decide which the top is and which the bottom is, but I may do that in a bit. So he's having to have most of his ear taken off, Jan. I'm a bit ahead of you. So what you're seeing is about, let's see, how far behind are we? We are about 15 to 30 seconds behind. Anyway, while I remember, don't forget to give a thumbs up if you're enjoying this. And if you haven't already subscribed, that would be lovely too. Just click that subscribe button. If you're watching on replay, if you've got any questions, you can leave those in the comment section below the description bar. Right, so we're getting there. So that's our Magenta Madness. Now we're going over to Night of Navy, which will be our last colour. Now I do need to do something here actually, so let me just, whoops, not bend the card. That would be good, because if you bend the card, like I am, you end up with a ruck, which is not a great thing when you're trying to blend. Right, so my dark blue brush, and this I'm definitely coming in from the side, and this is kind of where the magic begins to happen. So yes, we dropped him off at the vet's first thing this morning. We were there at 8:30, and then he's got antifungal medication that he's going to have to take for, it's 3 weeks of medication, but he has a week on and then a week off, because apparently that just, it makes it work better. But yeah, anyway, the good news is that we didn't ignore the lump on his ear, thinking it was just, one of those things. And hopefully we have caught it early enough that it's not going to be a problem. But yeah, so it's all a little sad at the moment. So this is where I bent the card, and you can see it's already picking up more ink than anywhere else. So that may make up my mind as to which is the top and which is the bottom. Good morning, Carol from Alberta. But yes, so we're doing this, the reason, for those of you who joined late, the reason I'm doing this technique today is because, I've just realised I brought the wrong sort of card bases over, never mind, is because after the Simple Stamping Saturday, where I showed my most stepped up card with ink blending, someone left a comment on the YouTube video saying, how do you do it? I want to see. So if there ever are, sorry, itchy eye now, if there ever are techniques or things that you want to see, I can't promise I'll be able to do them, but do leave a comment, because apart from anything else, it saves me having to think about what I'm going to do. Because, yeah, I, don't always fly by the seat of my pants, but sometimes I am flying by the seat of my pants, so having someone to point me in a direction is always good. Right, so I've still got those rather nasty splodges of Magenta Madness, but that's fine. So I'm going to come back in with all of the other colours, and probably then come back in with Night of Navy as well. I'm just wearing the gloves because I will pick up ink, but I will also leave greasy marks. Hello from San Antonio, Texas. First time live, yay! So this is based, let me just show you, Carol, we've got 2 Carols on now. This is what is the inspiration behind this. I was not happy with these blotches, just saying. So hopefully we'll be able to avoid those this time. But yes, someone asked how I did that, because on my Simple Stamping Saturday I show you how to do the simple card and then just show you the stepped up versions. And she said, please, 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 could I show her how to do it? So I am. Right, so I'm going to come back in with my Magenta Madness. And you can see, I mean, apart from the fact that this is obviously a pink, I do mark my brushes with ribbon just to sort of give me a vague reminder of which colours I'm using with which brush. That's not to say that I don't have uncoloured brushes, because I do. I have I went a bit mad and ordered too many. But it's fine. I don't think you can have too many. But yeah. So let's add a bit more of that. Now, obviously, you can use different colours if you don't have these. Basically, what we're looking at is a really vivid sunrise slash set. Because Aurora Borealis, not that I've ever seen it in person, unfortunately, even when I was in Norway with my father 3 years ago, we didn't see any Aurora Borealis. I think we were a bit far south for that. But there's lots of colour, so you need to not be shy about your colour. B, did you ever see Aurora Borealis when you were in Norway? Because I know you lived in Norway for a while. B trained as a cordon bleu chef. So if you ever need recipes, B is the person to talk to. Right, some more Calypso Coral. So obviously the difference between this and the one that I did at the weekend is that this is going to be landscape, not portrait. But the basic idea is the same, and I'm only making it this way because of the dies that I'm going to be using, I think, and it will just show this off better. But you can see by adding the colour back in, you kind of help get rid of any harsh lines. And then, oh no, didn't want to throw that over there because I need my So Saffron, which I think is a maligned colour. Not maligned, I think it's just ignored a bit. I think everyone reaches for Daffodil Delight and forgetting that So Saffron is a beautiful, soft, buttery yellow. I know my new team member has put So Saffron blends in her starter kit. Right, so now I just need to decide which is going to be the top and the bottom, and I think I'm going to be led by this crease here, which I don't like particularly. So this is going to be the top, and the only reason for saying that I need a top and a bottom is because I don't want it to just fly off the page. I want there to be a bit of a sort of an end to it. So all I'm going to do is, having decided this is going to be covered up, I'm going to bring in each of the blending brushes and add just a touch of the colour. And you can see already that we're blending out the top of that So Saffron. So I've already blended out some of that, and then just a little bit of the Night of Navy. Might need a little bit more ink on that. This is a slow process. This is one of those things where you want to take your time. There is a theory that actually you should hold the brushes at the end and not put so much pressure on, but I'm not that patient, so I go in and hold it down, because that's just who I am. So there we are. That's the basic idea. So I'm just going to pop those away in my little pot up on my board there, those to one side. And, right, so this is where I'm hoping to not make the same mistake I made last time. Actually, I know what I can do. Because last time I sprayed onto my, thank you Jan, I sprayed onto my hand and flicked, and I ended up with too many heavy flicks. So I'm going to, that has got some water in it, I'm going to get one of our water painters. Ooh, that needs a haircut. One of the bristles has bent back. So let's just give that a haircut. Here we go. So I'm going to squeeze some water into the brush, and that's better. Just flick the water on, and you can hopefully see that the water is bleeding out the colour. I'm going to try and flick off to try and get some little ones on. So that is a better look. Let me just grab a piece of kitchen paper. So hopefully you can see that that's kind of, it's wicked the colour out, and then you can just, any extra you can just pick up. So it gives that sort of, enjoying this, absolutely happy to, Belinda. Morning Judith. Why did I say Belinda? B. Right, so I'm also going to add some glimmer with our Wink of Stella, which is the ordering special free gift. I'm getting it everywhere, on my laptop, everywhere. So let me just do that. So this is the November ordering special, is a Wink of Stella, because it's amazing. I think we don't use it enough. So yes, I mentioned I was going up to London on Sunday for afternoon tea with my upline. She has invited all her, in inverted commas, leaders to join her for afternoon tea up in London. So that will be fun. Right, lots and lots of glitter added there. So let me just, one of the Carols loves it. So can you, I don't know how much this is where I need to just see what you're seeing. Can I get that to pick up the glitter? Just about. Anyway, it is there in person, you can see it. But yeah. So that is the background done, which means I can get rid of my scrap piece of grid paper, which is stuck down, and leave my clean piece of grid paper. Let's pop that there. So I can also take this off. So now we need to build our scene. Morning, Margaret. Ooh. So get rid of my glove. So this is what we've done so far, Margaret, so you can see. I'll pop that in the top corner there. Obviously you can watch back. The joy of live videos is that they are there to watch back. Now, I had demonstrators have been told what's staying, what's going, and what reductions there are from the current mini catalogue. And as ever, I did my catalogue walkthrough, which I posted live. I posted for this morning. I didn't do it live, but I posted it to go live this morning. And one of my demonstrator friends in the Netherlands has put a comment, and now breathe. I managed to get through the whole catalogue in about 15 minutes, which was, interesting. But I would hesitate. Hello, Cheryl. No, not Cheryl. Sherin. Hello, Priscilla. I'm so pleased you like the background. So we're going to put on a cabin. We may put on some trees as well, but I don't want to cover too much of the background because the whole point is the background. Anyway, so yes, I think I've done all of it in 15 minutes, and I do stress that the discounts are for Europe because each region has potentially a different discount depending on how much stock there is left. Now, I can't decide what colour to do the cabin because I want it just to be I might go basic grey. I'm going to go basic grey. So let's see what we've got in basic grey. That might be big enough. That won't be big enough. That's fine. What else have we got in here? Otherwise I'll just cut a piece. Oh, that's big enough. But is it tall enough? Yes, it is. It is. Because I'm going to do some layering of dies. So that's the first one that we're going to do. And it will go through, this will go through the mini cut and emboss, which is always good because it's small. We like small but beautifully formed. So, cat hair. Base plate, cutting plate, card. Is there a kind of one side that I prefer more than the other? Possibly this. So all I'm going to do is pop that down. Now I have stuck two dies together. So this outline die is separate from the cabin, but the cabin doesn't cut the shape, if you see what I mean. But what it does mean is that you can layer it up, which is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to cut it first in basic grey, and then I'm going to add some other layers. So it would be useful if I went further in. There we go. Now my bottom cutting plate probably needs replacing. I've used it for a class that I ran over the weekend that was for tags. Some friends of mine asked if I would run a class for them doing stepped up tags, so I did. The amount of die cutting was not small, shall we say, and I did end up cracking my plates, which is fine, they're still usable. Right, some of this I'm going to have to run through again because I didn't cut through everything. This is because my plates need replacing as much as anything. If you find that your dies stop cutting particularly well, it's probably because your plates are getting old. They do get compressed over time, and particularly the one that you're cutting into obviously loses bits because it's been cut into, so we're cutting away the plastic. So let me just line that up again, which it clicks back in reasonably easily, and it's helped by the fact that I have stuck my dies together. Clicks back in reasonably easily, except when you want it to. There we go. So it's these ones here that are just a bit resistant, shall we say. Hopefully that is lined up well enough. Fingers crossed, everyone. Squeaky. Yes. So those will now come out. That's fine. So I'll pop that to one side for the moment while we get rid of these bits into my not particularly empty pot. And you can use your die brush, which is on your pick tool. So I do have the die brush. That's an optional add-on to the take your pick. Oops. Don't exhale onto your cutting plate when you've got loose bits of die. Right, so that is going to go there. And I may cut something to go behind it. In fact, I will. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the cabin off the die, and I'm going to run a small piece of black through. Just so that we've kind of... Oh, actually, no, I'm going to go white. I'm going to go white. So that we can have light and snow coming through. That's big enough. Except I can do all of it in one go. Because obviously I want white snow as well. What have I got in here that might be big enough? Oh, that'll probably do. That will probably do. So I don't need that piece. I need to cut this down a bit. So I'm going to back the grey with white, and then I'm going to trim some of this away somehow. Haven't decided quite how yet, but that's my plan. That's my plan, Stan. Oh, it's quite bowed. Ah, right. No, I don't get mine bowed. Right, I will pick that up in a minute. There is a trick to that. I'm just cutting this so it's small enough to go through the mini cut and emboss. Right, don't need that at the moment. Okay, so don't need that either. Right, so bent plates or unbending plates. So this plate is tatty beyond belief. If I push, I don't know if you can see, there is a bit of movement. So this is flat and this is bowing up. That is the moment when you want to turn it over. You don't want it bowing up. Hello, Brenton, thank you. It's about to go to, as one of my old colleagues used to say, hell in a handbasket, but thank you, because I'm trying to work out how to get white on top, but it's fine. So yes, ideally, Jan, you want to keep flipping your plates, but certainly if they start bowing up, you want to turn them over so they bow down. But basically you want to keep flipping them over and you're less likely to get them to bow. Right, so this is where it's all going to go horribly wrong. But let's see. So this bit will be fine. So that's the look that I'm going for. But what I also want is white in the foreground, which is where things are going to go horribly wrong. It's going to be fine. I have faith. Or something. So. I know what I'm going to do. It may not work, but I'm going to try. So. Somewhere in here I have my craft white. So I'm just going to try something on the back and see if it works. Yes, that will work. Right, so what I want is to make these less grey. I'm not going to do this all over, I'm just doing it on some. Because then I'm going to cut round. So this is going to be the shadow of the house. Are you with me here? Just keep following the story and it will be fine. So this is the shadow of the house onto the snow, but there are little bits that are going to be picked up as being really nice and white. Just keep following the story and it will be fine. Honest Gov. And I'm going to add some more bits in as well later, but I'm also going to pick up some of the roof. Just a bit. Again, not all of it, just a bit. And this is actually a roof. And it's going to help with that direction. Right, okay, so this is where it's either going to go horribly wrong or it's going to work. And should I flip top and bottom? Right, so what I do is I always have two plates going, obviously. This one is always going to be on the bottom. And then there's going to be a moment where I decide that these cracks here, I mean, it'll probably just crack straight across. When I've decided that this one needs replacing, I'll put this one on the bottom and put a new one on the top. So the top one is always left basically clear. I mean, it's a bit foggy because the pressure of the dies. So I always have one that's being cut and one that's doing the pushing. If that makes sense, I hope it does. Right, so this is where I'm going to just do a bit of surgery. So I'm going to come in here, and I know I'm going to cut away some of the bits that I've already coloured. Life's like that. In fact, quite a lot of the ones I've already coloured. In fact, I might even just, you know what? I think I'm just going to cut them away. It's fine. Because then what I can do is I can pop that there, and it becomes a building on top of snow. And there was me trying to outthink things. Right, so multi-purpose liquid whatnot. Just add a little bit to a few strategic places, which is mostly the outside of your die, or anything. So anything that's loose, so this I would call loose, you want to catch that. And this is where craft tweezers come into their own, because I can come in under there and hold. Come on, thank you. Take that to the end, there we are. And that's loose, so I'm going to add some adhesive to the top there. Now, one of the joys of our adhesive is that it dries clear. So I'm going to take this and line it up with my white die cut. And also, because it's liquid adhesive, there is a little bit of wiggle room. And then I can turn that over and give it a good press. Don't need that, so I didn't need to colour all of that with the chalk white marker. So we now have our outline house, which can go onto our background. And I may add a few trees. Let's see what we've got in the way of dies, because I can then add, I can pop the dies down to see what I want. So actually what I think I'm going to do is have trees behind the house. So I am thinking that I'm going to have trees there. Yes, I like that. And I think I might keep it fairly plain other than that. I mean, I was thinking I could add the fox as an extra layer, but I think I won't. So trees it is. And I'm going to go evening evergreen because everything that's in the front is going to be in shadow, because this is where the light is at the back. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. Right, so evening evergreen. Don't need a huge piece for this, just enough. That will do. So again, I'm going to put these through the die cutter at the same time, just so that I've got them cutting at the same time. Right, plates, die cutter, die cutter. base plate, cutting, really tatty cutting plate, trees, and they do just kind of slot into place. And if I was doing a lot, I would stick them, but I'm going to bring them to one end because I don't actually want the whole piece. I just want those 2 trees. Top. Right, if you find that you can't get your plates through, which can be a thing with the Mini because it's a very small opening, just offset your plates. I tend to go for the front one being ahead of everything else. And I'm going to go back and forward because there's lots of holes in this tree. And I am going to die cut it in white, the trees in white as well, but just the outline. So just pop that off. I'm just going to get rid of all these bits. Yep, those are cut nicely. And I'm hoping, yep, go that way. Because there's holes in the trees, so I want snow to be coming through the trees. Or I want it to look like snow anyway. There we go. Okay, let's get rid of all this. And then we've nearly done. So this is a long technique video. So we're only doing the one card, but as I say, technique is good for long, or long is good for technique. So die brush, you can leave the dies in place. I quite often just push through into my hand because, you know, why not? But it does get them out quickly. I've got to hoover the floor later anyway, so let's do that. Get rid of that. And that. So these are going to go over the top of the white. And again, I'm going to just add glue in a few strategic places, also known as the outside again. And this will post on my website tomorrow because I want people to be able to see the post about the retiring list for all of today. And if you're not already on my newsletter, do remember to sign up for that, which you can do over on my website very easily. It's always at the bottom of every post on my website to sign up to my newsletter, and I give hints and tips. There's projects, all sorts of things that I do in my newsletter. Right, so that is going to get trimmed. So, as I say, there is still more to do. So that's going to go, this is going to come on the front, and we're going to have that behind. And that's basically all we need to do. Right, so the first thing I'm going to do is pop these trees down. Or do I want to trim this? Can't decide what colour card base to go for. White seems a little boring, frankly. Morning, Lisa from Ohio. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. What am I going to do? Could go Knight of Navy. Could go white and Knight of Navy. I quite like the idea of that. Do I have a Knight of Navy pre-cut? Yes, I do. Marvellous. Right, so we're going to go Knight of Navy for our background. I've got a white mat ready to go. I'm going to trim this down just a little bit. So all I'm going to do is take a smidge like 1/8 of an inch off each side, which also means it will get rid of the kind of the edge of the card is more heavily pigmented than the inside. I hope that made sense. It makes sense to me. Right, so this is going to go on here like that. Then this is going to go over the top, and I am going to bring that down to cover up that edge. That's fine with the trees behind. Right, we're good to go. Okay, so seal. Sometimes I put my seal onto the thing I'm sticking down. Sometimes I put it onto the thing I'm sticking down to. There are benefits to each. I do find that holding something that's sticky is not ideal. Thank you, Lisa. If I'm doing a really narrow margin, then I often put the adhesive down onto what I'm sticking to, as opposed to what I'm sticking on. So now we do want a reasonable amount of the Aurora Borealis to show, because that is, after all, really what this card is about. A bit more. I need to probably go to the edge and silicone mat. Why do I forget my silicone mat? So, and I do know I've got to get my trees in. So I'm going to slide my trees in behind, but I wanted to know where I was putting my cabin first. So these are going to get slid in behind, like that. Actually might come slightly off the edge, as a deliberate choice. And this is why you want your silicone mat for this. And I have a pair of somewhere. Where have I put them? Way over the other side of my craft room. These are non-stick, so the glue will just rub off when it's dried. I do have a pair of sticky scissors as well, so scissors that I have deemed to be sticky, but these are actually non-stick. And unfortunately not from Stampin' Up. But hey, there we go. Can't have everything in the catalogue. Ooh, there's a nasty mark. Never mind, we can cover that up. Right, so that is that. Then that folds and do that. So this will go on there. And I do want something on the inside of my card as well. And I also want some more on the outside of my card. So I want, where's my, there it is. I want to add some little bits of shine, which probably won't get picked up by the camera, but I will do my best in the photographs. But just a bit of shine. Now you can put a sentiment on if you want, but as I say, this video is really about the technique, not... Oh, actually I think that will pick up on the camera. So just a bit of snow banking, and then a liner. And I think that little fox would be pretty cute. I think we might have... Ooh, I haven't stuck all my labels on. Right, I'm so going to say we might have a small tree. We will have a small tree, but it will be there. Right, so, and the fox is there. I must stick my labels on. Sadly, this is not carrying over, which I'm heartbroken about. Now, I'm going to go crumb cake, I think, for my fox, and I am going to go evening evergreen for my trees, or tree, I should say. And I'm going to bring in a piece of scrap paper again. Because I'm going to be stamping over the edge. So I'm just going to ink up the one tree. Am I on camera? Just about, I think. So there's my one tree. And then we want a little fox. Yeah. There we are, our little fox. Just so that we've got something pretty on the inside. And this is actually rather... There is one seasonal one, but the rest are all non-seasonal. So we've got thank you for you, wishing you the best. Your kindness makes the world a more beautiful place to be. It's only this one, may you enjoy the peace of this beautiful season, that is what I would call seasonal. And it's not even really, it's not really Christmas, it's just a nod to Christmas. So, no, I do want that. Just stick this down and then we are done. I thought of taking cutouts and building a scene. I typically colour the scene with markers. Yeah, I mean, it's actually not difficult. I really had no idea how I was going to build the scene when I started, because the card was all about the background, but it just kind of falls in place. So there we are. There is our card. So if you've enjoyed that, please give it a thumbs up. And if you don't already subscribe, please do. You can do that in the bottom right-hand corner. Oh, I didn't do my housekeeping, did I? For those people who are joining late. Can't wait to make this. Excellent. But yeah, I mean, just grab... These are, for those of you who joined later, colours. So Saffron, Calypso Coral with a faded label. Let's do that. Calypso Coral, Magenta Madness and Night of Navy. But it kind of works. Thank you, Sharon. And thank you, Lisa. So there we go. As I say, thumbs up if you've enjoyed it. Do subscribe. I will post the associated post for this tomorrow. Thank you, Brenton. So if you want to see close-ups, a bit more information, then that will be tomorrow, 8 o'clock UK time. I will be back on Thursday, all things being equal, at 3 o'clock PM afternoon UK time for another hour of crafty fun. I will bring the camera up so I can say goodbye properly, and I may even remember that you can't now see onto my craft desk, which is often something I forget. So yes, this is our card. So I hope you have enjoyed that. And thank you to, I think it was Tanya, who asked me to show you how to make this. But it's a lovely technique, and you don't have to do the whole spritzing water on it. You can leave it just as it is. It's also a great way of doing a sunrise or sunset. You just do it horizontally rather than vertically. So yeah, but just go a bit imaginative with your colours. Don't think about them too much, just kind of go with them. Anyway, thank you very much indeed. Do remember, wherever you are in the world, assuming that it is still November in Australia, Brenton, The Start With Savings runs out tonight. And tomorrow demos get to pre-order. Yay! Thank you, Nora. Yes, we're fingers crossed. It's going to be a bit of a long haul, I think. We've got 5 weeks of treatment. So, yeah, fingers crossed. Another hour. Okay. Well, happy December. I hope the summer is beginning to arrive. So, I will say, I'll bring up my end screen and I will say farewell. So, farewell.